Hello and welcome back to Pennies and Salt. I'm Megan and I am a homeschooling mom of 6 kids. 4 kids are currently actually school age, 1 is a toddler, and 1 is a baby. So today in this video, I'm actually just going to share with you how I plan and prepare a lesson to homeschool multiple ages and stages of children. So I hope that you enjoy and I hope that this is helpful for you. Okay. So the first thing for me that I want to say up front is before I became a stay-at-home mom and homeschool mom, I actually was a public school teacher for over 7 years. And so planning lessons in general is something that I have been doing for a very long time. And it's something that I actually really enjoy doing. And that is the one thing I carried over from teaching public school that has been extremely helpful in our homeschool, is that planning piece and planning aspect. For me, I try to think long term, but I don't focus on the long term, if that makes sense. I focus on what are we focusing on and learning right now in this week, in this month, in this unit, whatever. But overall, I do have like overall yearly goals. I don't write them down, I just keep them in mind. But that's just how my brain works. Everybody is different. So I have tried different planning methods and I actually will move from method to method, throughout the year. In fact, just a month ago, I was actually using just a spiral notebook and jotting it down. Like I do bullet points a lot. I love doing that. Like I'll just label the date at the top and I'd almost do it like bullet points of like a to-do list for the day. So sometimes I go that route depending on my season of life at the time. But for the most part, I actually really enjoy using this homeschool planner right here. It's actually put out by Mardell. It's called A Simple Plan for the Homeschooling Family. This is my second year that I have been using this planner. I'm super picky when it comes to planners. And I actually really like the way this one is laid out. I did a flip through of the one, not this one, but the one from the year before. And I will link that down in the description below if that's something you're interested in seeing. It is the exact same layout as this one and the current one that just came out as well. So it starts in July and it goes through June. So I am at the back of this planner and I'm actually looking into using a different planner for next year. I'm not really sure yet because I do really love this one. But I did want to just try another one out just to see. So anyway, so I just want to put that out there, but I have been extremely pleased with this. This is a homeschooling only planner, so keep that in mind if you don't like having multiple planners. So I'm going to turn to the page that I'm using for today to do my planning, and I haven't written anything down yet because I'm going to show you how I do this. We're gonna get started. So I will spin the camera around and I will show you how I do this. Okay, so just so you get an idea of how I've used this in the past, this is all the way back in the beginning of it. I normally put this as like morning meeting, which is like our morning basket time all together. Then science and history goes here because normally we will do science one day and history the other. Sometimes we do both on the same day, it just depends. For morning meeting time, I also include if we do anything like art or music or anything like that. So this was at the very beginning of our school year. So obviously there's not a whole lot here just because we ease into it pretty easily. So each one of these I have as a different child. Eventually when all of my kids are school age, we will probably just write them all down here. So that's just how I designate boxes. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here with this morning meeting time, and which is my morning basket time. I did do a video on morning basket a while back, and how we do it, and I will actually link that down in the description below. And I will also link my day in the life video from this past week down in the description as well, if you're interested in that, because it does show a little bit more of how we actually do that morning basket time and how our morning flow and routine is. So first of all, the first thing that I want to do is I have a fun little book that I ordered, used off of Amazon, that my stepmom is actually a 4th grade teacher, and she does this even with her 4th graders, and they have so much fun with this book. She talks about how much they love this book. So it's actually like a beginning chapter book, kind of graphic novel kind of thing, but it looks so cute, and I am so excited about starting this with the kids. So we are actually going to read this during our morning basket time, just to get our day started, just as something fun to start our day. And I did Google and find a free printable for baby monkey coloring sheet. So that is what we're going to do. So I'm just going to write that in here. So baby monkey. Then the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to do our devotion, which I already have that in our morning basket. I should have pulled that out to show you guys, but it is leading up to Easter, Resurrection Sunday, the crucifixion of Christ, and so we've just been doing that for our devotions. So that is what we will be doing tomorrow as well. And we've also been working on memorizing the Heidelberg Catechism. We were actually challenged to do that by our pastor. So we took on the challenge, and we are working on that. So that is what we do during that devotion time. So the next thing is I will kind of smooth the way from morning basket time into our science time. And we will be doing that by using the Berenstain Bears Big Book of Science and Nature. I love this book. If you don't have this and you have elementary age homeschoolers, I do highly recommend this book. It's just super sweet. We actually got it when we did My Father's World curriculum, and I pull it out often whenever we're doing different science concepts, because who doesn't love the Berenstain Bears? I love them. The kids love them. So anyway, so we will be using this to bridge us into our science time. So we will do, I just put Big Book of Science, and I'm going to find the page that I need. So our science lesson is actually going to be on measuring weather. Well, most of what we are measuring in the weather is specifically the wind. So to lead over into that, I am going to find a portion in here to read about, oh, there it is. Actual facts about wind. So, and what I may do also is I may start with this, with flying a kite. So, because it talks about spring, and it's a little poem, and I love starting with that, and then we will go into actual facts about wind, and we will read this section right here. So, I think, let's see, yes, because I don't want to read the rain, I want to save that. So, that is page 35, 34, 33. So 27 through 33. So I'm going to write that right here. All right, so that is how I will kind of bridge over into our family subject, which is science. So then I'm going to write down our science lesson, which is, we are using meteorology. And then we are doing lesson 6. So I'm going to pull this down, lesson 6. And what we're doing here is actually, a lot of this is getting them ready to, so I'm going to look on here for my preparation. It's going to tell me everything I need to do. So I need to print out several copies of the daily weather data, which are these 2 pages right here. Now, one of these pages, if I read right here in my directions, it says the first sheet is for grades K through 1, which I have 2 kids that are doing K work right now. And then the others are 2 through 6. Well, I have 2 kids that are doing 2 through 6. So I need to print 2 of those and 2 of these. So I will pull those out here in just a second, but first I need to see if I need anything else. So right here, we're going to be talking about, we've got vocabulary cards, which are in this bag right here, which I already have handy. These vocabulary words to learn what they are, but I also wanted to pull up another visual for them. I also wanted to pull up more visuals for them, so I just Googled ways to measure weather kids in Google. And this actually came up, and it's just this short, like 1.5-minute video about a girl who is interested in meteorology, and she kind of gives some inside looks of how she gets involved in that. So I'll let them watch that. But then I also found some more information with good visuals on weather instruments right here. And then I also found, where is the wind going? Try a DIY weather vane. I found this on PBS Kids. And so I decided that we are actually going to make this tomorrow. So this uses very simple materials. It has my whole materials list right here. So I'm just going to leave all of these tabs open for in the morning when we do our lesson. And then I will just have the kids grab these materials because, like I said, we have them all close at hand. It makes them feel a part of things. If I had a classroom in a public school, obviously I would gather this stuff beforehand. But anyway, so I will just actually have my kids grab those supplies and we'll work on this as a family project together for our science. Before I forget, I'm actually going to go ahead and pull these papers out and set them aside so I can remember to make a copy of them. Okay, so the next thing that I'm actually going to move on to is my oldest son, Tanner, and he is going to finish his. He actually only has the test left in his grammar for the year, and he will be done. So I'm going to write analytical grammar test. Okay, and then he also needs to do his Saxon math. And let's see what lesson. I actually already have it for him, and I believe it is. All right, so that is for Tanner. So that is what he needs to complete for tomorrow. For Asher, he is my 2nd grader, and I already have his math right here. He's going to do math. Lesson 67. Then he is going to do his learning to read. And in this particular, so the way that Christian Light Education is they have it in light units. And so in this particular light unit student workbook, he is going to be on lesson 7 for the day. So I always abbreviate this as LTR, lesson 7 in that light unit. Okay, and then my 2 kindergartners, well, one's kindergarten, one's preschool, but they're both doing kindergarten work. They are working through the Foundations Phonics. So I just need to turn to where they are in this. And we are going to pull out, some toddler art. I am going to pull out their page for tomorrow. Okay. And set that aside into my teacher book pile. And this is going to go in my lesson plan book here. Let me see. Turn to this one. Get this one out for my other one. And stick that over here. Why I haven't taken these books apart yet, I have no idea, but that's just how I do things. Next year, that's not how I'm going to do it when I use master books. But anyway, so since Sophia and Marcus are doing this together, I have actually changed them to the same box. So we are doing, let's see what lesson is. We are doing L in our foundations. Then for math, whoops, I need to keep this right here. For math, we actually just started level 1 of this. We were actually working through Christian Light Education K2 before we moved into Foundations Phonics. And then now we are moving into level 1 math, the first grade math with master books. Okay, so we actually bought the PDF version so that I could print it off at home. That way I can just make copies of what I need, and then I can still use it with my 2 little ones once they get to school age. So I need to pull these 2 out because we will be on exercise 5 or day 5, exercise 5, whatever you want to call it. So I need to make 2 copies of these pages for my kinders. So I'm going to write exercise 5, so math, exercise 5, day 5. Okay, so, and I know what all of those little abbreviations mean. Obviously, maybe somebody who was looking at it wouldn't know, but I do. So anyway, so now I'm going to take this book and set it in my teacher pile and set these here so I can make copies of those as well. So that is basically our day tomorrow. Mainly because our science lesson is going to take a lot longer and it's a lot more intensive because they are going to be making something. They're going to be filling out these, and what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to have them take turns being a weatherman and weatherwoman. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but and I think that would be a fun little way to incorporate them getting up and getting used to, you know, talking in front of people and doing kind of a little presentation. So, so yeah, that is my plan for that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go make copies of the things I need copies of, which are these sheets here. I've already got my baby monkey copies. I printed those straight off of the computer. And so I will put all of this kind of stuff in here. Once I make copies of this, I'll put them in here and put these back away in my teacher book. And then I will set everything out on the table for homeschooling in the morning. So that is basically how I plan typically. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. I hope that this was helpful to you. I really hope it's helpful to you. If you want me to do another planning video, or like I said, if you do have questions, just put it down in the comments down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope that you have a blessed day. Thank you so much.